Welcome in, Jonah. Welcome in. Welcome in. Lala's in the building. Welcome in, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are here. Good morning. It's early. I'm tired. I'm not. I got good energy. We just had a great conversation in Froggy's Live. Great conversation in Froggy's Live. It was a dope conversation. I enjoyed every second of that conversation. Great conversation. I ain't gonna lie, I miss being live, like going live all the time. But it's tiring to be live all the time, man. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how people do it. But we here. We here. We. What's up, baby? Hello, world. Hello. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. My pleasure. Dottie in the building. What up, though? Conversation today. It's a good conversation, man. I think it's gonna be a dope conversation because I think we've all in our well, with us admitting. Yes, I know. Working and listening. If Daddy ain't working and listening, then just that's not Daddy being Daddy. I'm just saying. But I think we've all dealt with chaos. We know what it looks like in our life, the way that we can explain it, and the way that we deal with it. But I think understanding the root of it is going to be the most important thing. And thank you, Lala, for what you sent me on Instagram. I went through that whole article, fire article. Shar, welcome in. Fire article. That was a dope article. I sent it to Hormiga. I don't know if he was able to go through it, but that was a dope article. I found another one too earlier today that I thought that was dope. It was the need for conflict and the psychology behind chaos and conflict. It's interesting. I found some good stuff here, man. Some good stuff. I'm trying to find some videos. There's not a lot of videos. You don't see a lot of people making videos in regards to it, but I gotta look. But I found some interesting stuff. And I did pull some stuff up on the chat as just some talking points. But these articles are interesting, and Froggy sent me some stuff too. She sent me some stuff too. But to introduce the conversation a little bit, we definitely need to define what chaos is, right? Because we know definitions are important. I know, you're good. Because we can't ignore a definition, right, of a word. We have to always have the definition. So, chaos means a state of complete disorder, utter confusion, and total lack of organization and order. Okay, that's the basic definition. Well, that's the overall definition of chaos. It can also refer to a disorderly mass of things, or in a scientific context, a complex system highly sensitive to a initial condition leading unpredictable behavior. The word originates from the ancient Greek term for void, which is chasm. Dope. Dottie, thank you. So when we speak on chaos in the aspect of mental health, that conversation can go either way. Dame in the building. What's good, bro? That conversation could go so many different ways, because when you're defining what chaos is in the aspect of mental health, we gotta dive into like the root. Reese is in the building. We gotta dive in like a little bit further down, right, into the root, like the childhood traumas, the lack of the things that you lacked growing up. Maybe it was love. For we'll use love as an example. You lacked love and appreciation and support. You lacked the attention that you're supposed to receive from the people that were supposed to love you. Like you lack these things. So when you're in a state of chaos and it feels comfortable, you try to find ways to make that particular situation comfortable. Like the chaos that you show to you seems normal, but you think that you're showing love, but you're really not. Does that make sense? Like if like the way that people show love in their chaos feels comfortable to them, but in other people it's uncomfortable, it looks weird, it doesn't look right. But to you it feels comfortable. Or or in a certain aspect of a situation when you're constantly putting yourself, what up, King? I see you in the building. Kristen, welcome in. Hormiga, I seen you pop in here, brother. Good morning, everybody coming in. Good morning, everybody coming in. So in a state of chaos, when things doesn't seem right, or when you're in a state of chaos and it seems comfortable, where do we go from there? Right? Because chaos to people that enjoy chaos, who's coming up? Hormiga. So people that enjoy chaos, that's their normal. That's their peace. Brother man, what's good?
How are you?
I'm alright. I'm alright. Been doing a lot of research for this one, bro.
Good.
Did you see that article I sent you?
I did.
Okay. Elena, welcome in.
I did. Unfortunately, I've been reading a lot of different things, and I've been trying to practice what I preach, and have the in betweens so that the stories don't get conflicted.
Right.
So I'm only saying that because
I was actually the one that said that to me.
right. So that's a new thing that I'm practicing right now. Everybody should look into it.
Absolutely, King. Absolutely. So I started with giving them the definition of chaos, right? I'll repeat it for people that just came in. So the definition of chaos means a state of complete disorder, utter confusion, or total lack of organization and order. Now that's the regular basis definition of chaos, not in the mental health aspect. That's just overall what chaos means. Definitions mean things, guys. Just gonna give you that now. If you don't know the root definition of something, then you shouldn't be giving information on it. I'll be completely honest with you. So make sure you look at the root definition of something. And if you're gonna go into a certain aspect of what it is, right? Then you look for that certain aspect. For example, if it's the root of chaos in mental health or the root of chaos in the work field, like search it in that aspect. Like you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're using your search engine correctly on what you're looking for. Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Tanya. Happy birthday, Tanya.
Happy birthday, Tanya.
Guys, it's gonna be a tough one. This conversation is gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Because as much as we all want to admit that we don't have chaos in our lives, we all do. We're all dealing with some sort of chaos in our life, no matter how good our lives are going, how bad our lives are going. Chaos is always going to be there. It's always going to show its face. It's not going to show its face the way that we expect it. Sometimes it's highly unexpected. But if we have a better understanding of it, maybe we can kind of learn how to navigate it a little bit. So, just to give you guys context of all of this that we're doing for the month of September, the conversation of this started because I am working on my next mental health book. It will be releasing in April of 2026. Well, I'm trying to get it done by that time. But the name of the book is called The Hidden Source of a Chaotic Mind. That's the name of the book. Now, me and Hormiga had a conversation about breaking down what chaos is in four parts, in a four-part line, a four-part series. So today's part is called The Root of Chaos. So we're going to dive into what that is and what that looks like today. And then next Saturday, we'll bring up the topic for what next Saturday is, guys, to the part two. But We just wanted to give you guys something different because usually we'll just bring one topic and then we'll bring another topic, bring another topic. But we wanted to do some more of something structured, something different. Because we did this with I don't know if you guys remember, for the people that's been here for a while, we did it with the narcissist, understanding the life of a narcissist and how a narcissist feels. We did it with that conversation, and we brought in a lot of different information to that conversation. So hopefully this resonates with you guys the way that one did. Hopefully, cross our fingers. But let's dive into it. So, with everything that we see on a daily basis, overall in social media, right? We see a lot of people crashing out, a lot of people doing the absolute most, causing chaos, right? Causing chaos. But one thing that I learned is one thing I realized is we got to understand where that comes from, where that stems from, right? Because obviously, when we say chaos, we just want to. Some people want to just move out the way. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to understand it. They don't, they just want to avoid the whole dynamic of it. But unfortunately, chaos is unavoidable, right? We say that all the time. If you don't understand or recognize what chaos is, then when it happens to you, you're not going to know how to operate within it, right? We can't have peace all the time and not deal with the chaotic energy of the world. We'll never know how to operate if we don't understand it or we don't experience it. So the root of chaos, that conversation can vary for everybody. Everybody's the root of chaos is different. So I'm not gonna say it's the same. Can you agree on that?
The root of chaos.
Everybody's root of chaos is different.
Yeah, well, listen, everybody's view period. Whatever word noun you want to use, but for the sake of this conversation,
For the sake of this conversation.
yeah, absolutely. Um, we talk about the root, right? But the thing is, we also talked about stop chasing something that you don't understand yet. You know, so I'm always going to be firm on the why is definitely important, but to make sure that the why that you're looking for pertains to the what is going on.
Right. You sound kind of muffled.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I bang the phone? Should I do a backflip? Let me see. Some Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Your mic sounds like it's covered or something. I don't know.
Hold on. How about we do this?
Oh, mute yourself. You don't know what you're gonna get over here, guys.
How about now?
Sound better. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick definition and pull up the antenna on his Nokia phone. All right, so quick. So chaos isn't the things. Chaos isn't just things being out of order. In the aspect of mental health, hey Val, welcome in. What's going on, Shug? In the aspect of mental health, chaos can be a state of mind, can be a way of living, or even a lens we see the world through. Hence, trauma. All that is rooted in trauma. A lot of it. A lot of that is rooted in trauma, literally. Like, because just your state of mind can come from the things that you've dealt with in your life, right? The way of living can come from your environment, right? The environment that you lived in, the people that you were around, all of that can play a role in your way of living, or even the lens that you see the world through, also your environment, your trauma, and the things that you dealt with in life. That can also all play a role in all of that aspect of what the chaos looks like in your everyday or just overall, right? One of the things that I want to make sure that we have understanding of, right, is there's an external and there's an internal chaos, right? Good morning, good morning. So the external chaos looks like an unstable job, toxic relationship, or environments where nothing feels secure. Let's stop there. Let's stop there.
It's a lot.
Right? There was a lot in there. I want to start with the unstable jobs. Raise your hands, everybody here, right? That was either in a position, field, or career that felt like it was unstable.
Say that one more time. The career itself, the choice of
The,
employment or work that you're chasing.
the field, the choice, the field, the career, or the job, right?
Okay.
That felt unstable to you, in a sense.
I'm just trying to make sure it's the profession itself, not the actual business, right?
Not the actual business, the profession itself.
I just want to
I mean,
clarify for
it
people
could
out
be
there.
both.
People get
It
confused.
could be both, right? It's possible to be both, but let's stay on the topic of just the field itself, right? Because obviously, in regards to the actual company, right, that can vary for everybody. That's too much of a wide broad span of a situation. We're not even gonna dive into that. We'll be here all day having that conversation. But yeah, in the field of what you're doing, um, a lot of the when it's unstable like that, when it feels thank you, baby. When it feels unstable like that, to me personally, I wasn't meant to be there in the first place. Because sometimes we take jobs just for the money, right? We just take it for the money because we need money, and then the situation, and then we end up diving into working with toxic employers and toxic co-workers and all that stuff because the money's good, but then the environment, the aspect of the actual place or the career that you're in, it's not even healthy. It's not conducive to your mental health, right? We have a lot of people that say that they stay at the job because they love the money, but yet they're miserable. They're miserable. They're allowing the chaos of working in this field just for the sake of money. We see it all the time. We can't even act like we don't see it because we've heard people say this. We've all had somebody say that one point of time in our life where they'd be like, "I hate my job, but the money's good." I've said it. I've said it. Armiga, when I was working at the bank, when I was working at the bank, right?
I was gonna say that.
When I was working at the bank, and this happened in real time, guys. I was working at the bank. I was working in the fraud department at the bank. I called Hormiga. I said, I want to quit my job today. I want to quit my job today. He was like, well, I don't think it was a good idea, but he was like, that's how you feeling. Da, 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 da. So I go into Miss Harris's live and I said, Miss Harris, I think I want to quit my job today. And she's like, well, I don't think that's a good idea, but if that's how you're feeling, da 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 da. About 2 hours later, I got fired.
You can't make this shit up, bro.
Can't make this shit up.
So right there, hold that right there because I never actually addressed that with you. Now, going forward, since that moment till today in real time, I need some vulnerability here, just a little bit, right?
Go for it.
Do you now see what energy can bring you? Can you now see what manifestation is not just you intentionally bringing something to life?
Yeah.
Do you see it better now? I was trying to explain that to you before that was right. Do you see it better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain that to people.
I'm more mindful of my words because words are powerful. Words have powers and so does thoughts. And sometimes you don't even have to speak your thoughts for it to come true. Just you thinking it overall can make it happen. And I had to learn that. It took a while, but I'm here. I adapted. I learned. Experience, right? Experience breeds wisdom. People, you gotta do that. Lavette, I see you. Long time no see. But understanding the external part of the chaos is important. So the unstable job, the toxic relationships, people, come on, like let's be honest here. We gotta put a pause on these toxic relationships. And I'm not only talking about romantic relationships. If that's the way you're going immediately, you're falling short of it. We're not talking about romantic relationships only. We're talking about friendships. We're talking about your family. Yes, romantic relationships play a role. But the number one relationship that's mostly toxic is the one with yourself. You're welcome. You're welcome. before we blame anybody else, before we put anybody else in the aspect of toxic relationships, the most toxic relationship we always have is with ourselves. Omega, I see you itching over there.
It's oof. You
No,
know what we bring to ourselves. I'm over here writing something, right? And I'm like, I'm not even gonna get involved with the definition of it, right? Because the definition doesn't explain that everybody has their own version, their own perspective, and their own perception. We've been saying this for years. This is not a new thing, right?
right?
So you either cause it, or you ignore it, or you ignite it, or you maintain it, and now you have a reputation.
Okay,
You know, you're either a part of it or the solution, or you are the cause of it or not the enabler of it. Or you can choose to stop it. The point is that for some people it's not a choice anymore. We keep saying that you choose to do this, but no, you've done such a masterful job at believing the cons and the negativity that you have now living the lifestyle of it just to be comfortable in your own chaos.
absolutely, absolutely.
Everybody looks for comfort in chaos instead of facing it and saying, you know, what can I do to tweak something? You'd be like, no, you know what? That's a part of life. You know, it is what it is.
Well, well, I'm gonna give you a little bit of pushback, right? Just because some people, the people that are within the chaos, right? They don't. Some of them don't recognize the fact that they're living in that environment, right? Because it becomes a norm, right? They don't recognize it. They don't. It becomes such a norm to them that they feel secure in that environment, in that mindset. They feel very secure in that mindset. Now, for everybody that's on the outside looking in, right? It feels off. It looks off. It looks confusing. Like why are they moving like this? Why are they act like this? You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand instead of wanting to just try to remove this person out your life, try to get an understanding, right? Try to have a conversation with them if they're willing to have that conversation. I'm not trying to tell you to force it, but if they're willing to have that conversation, try to find the root of that chaos. Like where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like why do you operate the way that you do? Sometimes they've never been asked. They've never been asked that question, right? People see them moving in chaos and they moving negatively, and next thing you know, people are just moving out the way. They don't want to deal with them no more. That I'm good. So they continue to find people that are willing to deal with the bullshit. So they just move on to the next, and move on to the next, move on to the next. And what's happening is a chaotic person has the energy to create chaos within others. They are able to create the chaos within others. Whether the chaos is a norm for them, and I'm not talking about the person that's creating the chaos, or I'm talking about the person that that they're involved in or dealing with. They either the chaos is already a norm to them, so they know how to operate within it, or they've never experienced chaos before, and it's creating a person or something within them that they've never recognized before. So now they got to tackle something like that, and that right there gets tough. Because if you've never experienced something like chaos, how are you gonna be able to operate within it if you've never experienced it?
Very interesting. You see?
So if you wanna get a better understanding of what the chaos looks like for people in your life, ask that if you're willing to, right? I'm not talking about to do it, but if you're willing to understand and learn that person, want to learn the people that you're around, ask that question. Where do you feel like your chaos comes from? Some of them might be able to answer it. Some of them be like, I really don't know, to be honest with you, but I would love to know. Help them find out, figure it out, work at it together. Maybe you guys can figure something out, and maybe the chaos can change. The chaos doesn't have to stay. You can change it. If you find the root of it, things can change. Yeah, brother man.
Well, here's the part, pen and paper time, right? And that's just to take side notes.
Okay.
You mentioned that there's people don't often recognize the chaos when it's happening around them or to them or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
In different words.
The builder.
Do you know that there's psychological, social, emotional, and practical reasons why people don't recognize this? And then those things are broken down even further. Right?
Absolutely.
So, so understand, and I'm just going to give you one. Pick one. Pick one. Psychological, social, emotional, or practical reasons why people do not recognize chaos.
Let the chat do that.
All right.
Let them pick. Let them pick.
Listen, we're going to have four different things here, right? Psychological, social, emotional, or practical reasons why people do not recognize chaos. You might.
You guys pick one of the three that you guys want to hear first.
Yeah. Emotional, practical, social, or psychological.
Okay, 4. Sorry.
Right. Absolutely.
Why don't you guys choose in the chat which one of the 4 you guys want to hear?
There's a lot to consider here.
Is preparing for the worst a part of chaos? It could be.
Preparing for the worst.
It could be.
Anything can be chaotic.
Right.
The way that you approach things, the way that you understand things, the way that you look at things, anything can be chaotic. The thing is that it is normal, but what's not normal is when the chaos is not recognized or it's just too much of it, right? So there you go. Of course, they're going to say psychological. Okay, so here's the psychological reasons why people do not recognize chaos.
One more, guys. One more.
Ready? One more?
One more. One more heart me. I got 9 of them.
Okay, check this out. Psychological reasons. We are normalizing a dysfunction. People get used to disorder if it's constant, so it feels normal. So repetitious, you get used to anything like hot water, warm water, cold water, you get used to it.
Right.
Selective perception, that's what I was referring to earlier, right? Focusing only on what makes sense or feels safe while ignoring the messy parts. I mean, this should sound familiar to everybody.
What's going on, man?
Now you have optimism bias, believing that it's not bad and that things will work out eventually, even when the signs of chaos are obvious. Now we have the good one, denial or avoidance. We talked about attachment styles. We talked about characteristics, that come from that. Refusing to acknowledge chaos because admitting it means taking responsibility.
Many people that do that.
Yep. We got one more, but I'm going to repeat that one.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, you're not gonna just.
Yeah, no. I felt it coming. My chest almost caved in on that one.
You're gonna have to repeat that one again.
Here we go. Denial or avoidance. And we talked about attachment styles and the characteristics that fall when we all are in denial. You can't take accountability if you're in denial. Impossible. They go opposite directions. Denial and avoidance is the opposite of each other. Mathematics 101, ladies and gentlemen. If you like algebra, if you don't like algebra, and I told you this before, if you're not good at arithmetic, you're not going to figure this out. So here's the last one. Well, refusing to acknowledge chaos because admitting it means taking responsibility. I believe that I've done that to myself so much that I've avoided things just so I don't have to face that shit. I've done this so much, so you're not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I've done this many times in my life, and they come back to bite you in the butt in the worst possible time. The timing of divine intervention is incredible. When the universe goes, take this.
Boom.
Okay? So here's the last one, cognitive overload. Being cognitive, right?
Right.
When too many things are happening at once, the brain filters out the disorder to cope.
Repeat that again.
When too many things are happening at once, too much stuff, right? Remember I told you before that when you have too much going on, these stories become intertwined. The beginning of one story becomes the end of another. They become connected and you lose touch with the reality of your own head because you got too much going on.
Mm. That's a good one.
And we've taught people to write things down to make space in your head
Right.
for the things in your head to swim. But if your head is congested, you're not giving these thoughts space to fly because they're like this, they're so tight, you got so much going on. When too many things are happening at once, the brain filters out the disorder to cope. It moves the disorder out the way.
Right.
That is actually igniting. You're igniting everything. Everything has just turned on fire because you didn't take a moment to make space in your head. And the same thing with your heart, and the same thing with your body, and the same thing with your finances. You didn't make enough space for it to move. It is congested.
So I know I gave you guys the mental health aspect of what defining the root of chaos is. I did look up, guys, when I'm telling you I love this conversation, I did look up the scientific aspect of what chaos is. And when I'm telling you, do your research, guys. I'm telling you, this like okay, real quick, right? While we're diving into this whole segment, I want you guys to do your research. I want you guys to dive into this just like we're diving into this, so you guys have a better understanding. And you might be able to teach us something that we ourselves don't know, right? Because we're all doing this together, right? We're having this conversation together. We're diving into this together. This is new for us, as is new for you. Yes, we've probably did our own research, whatever long time ago, but to refresh our memory, I could only imagine what he ran across, because we didn't have a conversation of what we ran across. So what he's coming up, what he's bringing to the table right now, I heard none of this. We didn't have a conversation. We didn't get on the phone. We didn't compare notes. So what I have and what he has, we don't know anything of it. I'm gonna give you guys that now. So what he's coming to the table with is what he's coming to the table with. I heard none of this. Do your research, guys. Do your research, guys. I promise you. Information is key. So in regards to the, hold on, give me one second. Hold on. Boom. Okay. In regards to defining the root of chaos on the scientific aspect, J&J in the building. What's good, bro? In the mental health aspect, obviously, the scientific. Chaos in mental health isn't random, it's pattern dysfunction. Neuroscience shows that when the brain experiences chronic stress or trauma, the fear center becomes hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, which is the decision-making center, weakens. This makes chaotic reaction more likely than the calm ones. But it's in the short aspect of that, right? Chaos is not just emotional, it's neurological. And listen, when I'm telling you, and I never thought, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I never thought having this conversation was gonna be this deep until I did my research. Until I did my research, I didn't realize it was gonna be this deep. Same thing with the when we did the healing of a narcissist. I didn't realize how deep that rabbit hole went until I actually did my research. It went down a rabbit hole. This conversation is going to go down a rabbit hole. There's a lot to go into this. And mind you, this is only the first part. We're only talking about the root. We haven't even dived into the other three yet. So think about that. Hopefully by the end of this month, your thought process of chaos has changed. And that's the goal, is to make you guys open your mind up a little bit
to understanding what chaos is, so that way you can better operate with it, or assist somebody that's dealing with chaos to heal from it. That's the goal for this month. So hopefully you guys are taking in what's being said. Um, let's talk about the I don't know if you have anything in regards to the origin. Do you have anything related to the origin of chaos over there? I
Here's
have a little bit.
yeah, I do, but the problem is this, and I knew you was going to segue into this. It's okay. So once you if you were doing this in steps, right? Let's say step one is to recognize the problem, because if you don't recognize it, then we're not getting anywhere, right? So we talked about the reasons why you don't recognize it. So now that you're going to look a little deeper into it and see what you're actually enduring and what you're actually confronting,
Right.
step one would be to determine what is exactly this chaos. But then the second part would be where it's coming from, right? Or the why. And you have to understand what it could be. So we just went down a rabbit hole of things that, why we ignore things or why we just let it exist. But then you have to start figuring out, is it neurological? Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it an extroverted thing, an introverted thing? Is it spiritual? You understand what I'm saying? So then you have to start digging deeper into yourself and realizing, what is it that's causing this chaos? What is it that's allowing this chaos to exist? When do I ignite others' chaos or inherit somebody else's chaos, right? Because sometimes chaos comes from other people. Humans are no joke. You understand what I'm saying? I keep trying to tell you that you don't know what humans are going to do. Even the most perfect sounding and looking person will flip out. I'm not perfect. I bug out from time to time. Do I come out with some weird things sometimes, bro?
Listen,
I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah. It originally means deep. It comes from the word chasm. Chaos comes from the word chasm.
Yes, it is. It is. See, the thing is that every time we speak, at first we start talking about what it is, how to recognize it. But there's gonna come a time in this conversation where we could talk about the pros. I'm just putting it out there for you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get it.
You know, there's red flags, there's cons, and there's pros, because chaos is necessary in some situations, and I'll prove it further down this conversation.
Absolutely.
So that's funny, because we avoid something that actually can help us, because in chaos is a life lesson. Because if you could recognize the chaos, then you might be able to recognize other things as well. You are practicing the skill to be aware, not just of yourself, but existence. It's, existence, like the things around you, the noises, your senses. If you want to upgrade a level in how your body and your life and your brain functions, you got to start recognizing things for what they really are.
Listen, dealing with chaos and understanding chaos gives you two very important tools, right? It teaches you how to be mindful, and it teaches you how to be aware. Like, powerful. Those two alone, powerful, and they work hand in hand. Teach you how to be mindful and teaches you how to be aware. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So, in regards to understanding the origin of chaos in the aspect of mental health, because when you hear chaos, it can go so many ways. So I got to make sure I put that out there when we're having this conversation. Um, it can start in childhood instability. 1 second, guys. Childhood instability, emotional neglect, even constant unpredictability can make chaos feel like home. Sometimes chaos is a survival strategy when you grow up in it. You learn to function with it. But over time, survival turns into identity, and I don't know who I am without some kind of drama or storm around me. Let's kind of go back a little bit, right? The identity. Completely stuck out, right? The identity. We've had this conversation before, guys. When people create identities or create that false sense of identity to feel comfortable or to feel safe, when they create that false sense that identity that they create in the chaos is not a false sense of identity. It's not a false identity at all. That's who they are because that's all they know. It's not a false sense of identity. But it looks like it, right? Because you're thinking to yourself, there's no way that this person is like that. There's no way that this person is acting like that. No, this is who they are because they don't know any better.
Well, that's why the word, real quick, identity and identify should be looked at, right? Your identity is who you identify with.
Right.
And people don't make it too difficult. What do you identify with? Like, what do you relate to? Like, you can't have a relationship unless you can relate to people, and your identity is based on.
Now, just to kind of break it a little bit, just to give everybody two different aspects of identity, right? When I speak on identity, when I was speaking on identity before in the aspect of somebody making the branded version of them, remember when I had that conversation with you guys? They create a version of them online that looks different because they're getting the praise, they're getting the love, they're getting all of the things that the person that's behind the door is not receiving. That's one aspect of identity. The other aspect of identity is what I just spoke about. That's who they are because they do not know any different. Not saying that they can't be different or they can't learn to be different, but because that's all they know at this current moment in their life, in their stage of their life, is chaos, that feels normal to them. That's their peace. It doesn't bother them the way that it bothers somebody that doesn't operate in chaos. Somebody that doesn't operate in chaos is draining to them. It's exhausting. To them, it's not that exhausting. Not as exhausting as it should be. It might exhaust them in a sense, but it's not as exhausting to a person that doesn't operate in chaos. Someone that doesn't operate in chaos will be drained beyond belief. Dealing with all that type of energy and that negative aspect of it, it'll be draining. It's completely draining. Coming from a person that was a negative person at one point in his life, I was a complete negative person, toxic beyond belief. Before I became who I am now, I promise you, it's not a good feeling. Because when I think about it now, I'm like, damn, that shit was draining. Like it was draining, right? But it wasn't as draining as it would be for me now. I had to reprogram all of that, all of it, and it takes work. It takes time. It takes effort. You have to want to change. Keyword.
You're gonna mess it up. You're gonna mess it up a couple of times. Let's be honest, right? You're gonna mess it up.
Listen, nothing in life when you're learning and being better is perfect. There's no perfection to it. You're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen. You're probably gonna beat yourself up a few times, but that's normal because we want to be better. We want to do things differently. You're gonna probably have to remove a few people out your life because unfortunately, when you are a toxic, chaotic person, you attract toxic, chaotic people.
Yes.
You're gonna attract those individuals. It's gonna happen. It's unavoidable. Because unfortunately, negative energy attracts negative energy. It's just what it is. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
And negative energy lasts longer and sticks around longer than positive energy. It's like poison. It's like a poison. It's not going to kill you right away. Some of them might not. It might not unalive you right away, but it will definitely trickle down at some point in time and start doing damage to your life. Eventually. But if you don't recognize it to prevent it, then this is going to keep happening. It's just going to keep happening. And unfortunately, with people that deal with chaos, they don't recognize that the fact that it's doing damage to their life. They don't recognize it until they actually admit that they're struggling with this situation and they're struggling with this problem. All of it seems okay. It seems normal. It's cool, right? Even though everybody else around them may think that it's not, but to them it's normal. And we have to accept that for them, not for us, but for them. We have to accept the fact that that's who they are. And if unless they're willing to change, that you know what I'm saying? You gotta let that be. You have to make the decision if you want to stick around this person or not. Because then you're the one that has to adapt to who they are as a person. You have to either choose to adapt or choose to remove. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to change for you. They're not going to change for you. They have to change for themselves. I'm just saying. Stop me when I'm lying. Stop me when I'm lying.
I would if I could.
Stop me when I'm lying. That's. I'm just saying. If I miss a part, let me know because I don't mind being wrong. But stop me when I'm lying.
No, listen, missing a part, and here's another thing too. Oh my God, this irks the shit out of me. Missing parts does not necessarily make it wrong. Incomplete is not always wrong if you are seeking for completion and clarity.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to understand that, like omission, not holding information back, that's dishonest, right?
Right.
So if you know, you know. And if you're trying to make yourself believe that you don't know something that you do, then you're not ready to take accountability or be responsible. We talked about that just a few minutes ago.
Right.
So that's what that looks like, right? Now watch this. Chaos definitely disrupts stability, right?
Absolutely.
And stability forces you to question who you are and what you stand for.
I seen it, baby.
So identity often takes the shape of to chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So by resisting it, adapting to it, or finding meaning within it, while chaos can alter or fragment one's sense of self, it could also serve as a catalyst for self-discovery. This is what I'm trying to tell you, that everything that happens to you can be utilized to do a lesson or get something from it, but we choose to live in it too long.
Right.
Chaos is only good if you learn something from it. You learn how to recognize better and make sure that these things that you go through are only temporary, ladies and gentlemen. These things were not meant to be in your life forever. These things are just little stepping stones, right? Little learning curves that we are learning, and we avoid them, therefore prolonging our greatness.
True.
We're getting in the way of our own development. We're getting in the way of our own leveling up, elevation.
Now, I don't know if you guys see what's happening here, right? So he's talking about the good. I'm talking about the bad. I don't know if you guys caught that. And this was not planned.
Of course not.
Wasn't planned. You see how I bring the bad, he brings the good every time. Every time I bring the bad up, it was not planned. I promise you, it wasn't.
I mean, they should be used to it by now, right?
Right? Couldn't even you know what I'm saying? Good cop, bad cop, right?
Boom, boom,
This,
boom,
this is what this is
boom,
what
boom.
this is what 5 years look like, guys. By the way, this is what 5 years look like. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But one of the things that I want to bring up, and unfortunately, this happens a lot, right? A lot of people will maneuver in their trauma that they didn't process, right? A lot of chaos is a reflection of unhealed wounds. It's always a reflection of unhealed wounds, and a lot of time when people are not in control of their life, right, or control in what's going on in their world, they will create chaos. They will create chaos so that way they can feel like they're in control of something.
What does that physically look like? Give them an example, because you got me lit up over there.
So to give a good example, and I don't like doing relationships, but I'm gonna do it. In a relationship aspect, right? Let's say you and your person's having this big argument. Boom, 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 argument. Da 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 da, argument. You tell them to leave. They leave. And then you decide to keep blowing up their phone after you told them to leave. But you're blowing up their phone. They're not blowing up your phone, but you're blowing up their phone. Still doing the most. Trying to convince them to come back. Trying to convince them to do X, Y, and Z. They come back. And then you repeat the cycle all over again. That's intentionally creating chaos to gain control of a situation. And that's just the easy way to kind of explain it, because I know everybody can understand that aspect. Right? I don't want to go too deep in it, but just to give a basic one, I think everybody would understand that a little bit. Like, you're in an argument, you tell the person to leave, and then when they leave, you don't have any. Now you don't have really much control of anything, because it's just you, right? So now you have to create something to have control over, and you can create this conflict to create the chaos. Even though conflict and chaos are two different things, you create the conflict to start the chaos, to have control of something that you didn't have control over in the beginning. Somebody got to have the last word trying to control the narrative. That too, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, listen, if we're talking about the English language, the word chaos itself can be used in every aspect of English language. It could be a verb, it could be a noun, it could be an adjective, it could be used to describe something, it could be action, it could be you could be in a chaotic state of mind. You can do things with chaos.
Right.
That's the thing, that you can bring that chaos into things.
And there's not many words that actually fall on all those categories.
Chaos is so. In other words, if chaos is available in every sense of the language, then that means that it exists in every place.
Yeah.
So hello. So if it exists in every place, we need to use what? We need to use balance in order to understand this chaos, because chaos can build up in like this. Chaos is that rage. Chaos is that.
Turn out the live.
And sometimes, because it's a small thing, we look at it like it's not important, but we made it small because it happens so much that we say, you know what, I'm going to accept it instead of doing something about it. And then what happens is that here comes that overload, and people catch you at the wrong moment, and you end up, attacking and bugging out with somebody,
I think the reason why people make it small is because they don't understand it.
That's definitely that you see, that's the basic what I'm trying to tell you. The understanding is on a surface level. It's not even deep learning or thinking.
No, it's not. And that's the crazy part about that.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. And that's the number one thing when it comes to anything in life, right? That people try to avoid is the lack of understanding. Everything in life, no matter, this is off topic, everything in life, no matter what it is, you can learn from.
But it doesn't have to be chaotic when those situations come.
No, another thing, right? Even that, we're not even. Let's. You know what I'm saying? I'm a really go in there, right? Pause. Another thing, like, you could take information from any situation that you have. You can have an understanding of every situation that you have. You don't have to apply it to who you are. Because it may not resonate with you doesn't mean that the information is not valid. The information is still valid. You don't have to apply it to yourself, but at least you know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to apply it. If it doesn't resonate to you, it doesn't resonate to you. You know what I'm saying? But the information is information. Knowledge is still knowledge, no matter what it is. No matter what it is, knowledge is still knowledge. So if you're not taking it in and you're not wanting to understand it, when you actually deal with it, you're not going to be able to operate. You're not going to be able to understand it. You're not going to be able to function. Just because you're not dealing with it at that certain moment doesn't mean that you don't have to understand it. That's why I tell you guys, do your research. Do your own research. Do not just take our word as law.
Not at all. You're not offending nobody by checking this information because you could actually bump into something that we might have overlooked, and that's exciting conversation.
Check all this stuff. This stuff is out there. This information is out there. We're doing our research when we bring these topics to you guys. We're not just coming off the fly. Some of the stuff we already know. So when we may come off we may freestyle it and shoot from the hip. But a lot of this stuff we are researching. We're looking at articles and we're reading articles. We have people that been on our show so long that they send stuff to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll send stuff to us for us to look into. Like
We gotta organize it. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta move around and you know what I'm saying? You gotta do your own research, man. Like when I'm talking about information is information, knowledge is knowledge, knowledge is key. If you don't have knowledge, you don't have information, you don't have this stuff, you're falling short. If you want to be a part of a conversation or want to be a part of that percentage of people that's able to stand in every conversation, you got to do your research. And not saying that you have to be completely like A1 into it, right? But at least you have something that you can bring into the conversation. If you don't have nothing to bring, then don't put yourself in the conversation, period. But knowledge is everything. I promise you. Whether it's good conversation or bad conversation, you can take something out of it. You know how many and me and Hormiga had this conversation. How many conversations I've had with people I don't like? Think about that for a second and hear my words. How many conversations I had with people I don't like? But the information that they provided was more conducive to the people that I actually like.
Yeah. The messenger doesn't. It's not always a choice. You see, if you're
That alone is chaotic.
here's the thing. If you're not,
Welcome in for the first time, man.
Look, if you're not doing your due diligence, right?
Welcome in for the first time.
If you're not doing the research, if you're not doing the work, right? And the work, I mean everything. You have to be better at how you do it and know how long you're going to stay there, because you don't want to stay in an environment that the long term of it is hurtful. You see, you want to be in and out of these learning lessons, right? And learn them as quick as possible, but don't rush and skip things.
Right.
Don't leave without learning it, but it doesn't take forever to learn it unless you are resistant to it. The resistance is what causes longevity in the chaos. Sometimes you avoid it, it comes back later. It might not be the right time to face it. You have to make some life choices. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be just breaking down wherever you feel like it.
Right. No.
Let me say that one more time. You can't just
What's going on?
break down whenever you feel like it, because some breakdowns are real and some are caused by our inability to create a balance in our life. We are responsible for many of the chaoses, but then there's other chaos that we can't recognize because the combination of things that are going in your head, that are going through your mind and your heart, and believe me, I empathize with all of you for this.
Right.
It's almost unmanageable. If you have too much going on, that whatever it is that's going on is going to defeat you. You're not building any resilience if you're trying to tackle the impossible.
Right.
You're not. Well, you're damaging yourself and you're keeping yourself in a situation too long. So you're not going to be able to have the mentality to know how long to be somewhere if you're in a place for a long time and you're not getting shit out of it.
Lala said it. Take your emotions out of it.
If you can.
One of the things that we struggle as humans, and this is not for any specific gender, this is for all of us. Humans, we allow our emotions to make difficult decisions. Okay? We allow our emotions to make difficult decisions. And our emotions, unfortunately, will sway us to make the wrong decisions. Most times. Not all the time, but most times. Now, if we think things in a logical aspect, right? And we think about what it is, what it could be, what could go wrong, what could go right, right? Now you have a bed. Now you have four different aspects to run for or run towards and to think about. In an emotional standpoint, you're not thinking about all that stuff. You're just thinking about one aspect of what's going on, and that's just how you're feeling. You're not thinking about everything else overall. You know what I'm saying? So when you remove the emotions of decision making and creating what's healthy for you, you'll realize that things will work out the way that it's supposed to. Remove the emotion listen. I'm not saying to get rid of your emotions. Emotions are necessary. It makes us human. We're not robots. Okay, we need emotions. You just have to learn how to use it. Emotional intelligence, people. Emotional regulation. You gotta be emotional. You gotta have a balance to it. That is gonna be the key word for this month. Balance. Balance.
It should be the key word for the rest of your life.
Balance.
You know, let me tell you something. Now, listen to what he just said. Remove the chaos from it. But here's the thing: if you feel as though you don't recognize any emotion, it doesn't mean it's not chaos, because chaos is not always emotional. It could be situational. There's a lot of things that come from it. It could be even mathematical. There's chaos in mathematics. There's chaos in disorganization. There's chaos in lack of time management. There's chaos in too much overwhelming thoughts. There's and you know, what does that feel like? Confusion, anxiety, anger, overwhelming. You know, everything in your head is out of control. It's deeply emotional. But here's the thing: did it start emotionally? Here's a good question to ask: did it start emotionally? You may not have to remove any emotions. It may not be, but did you add emotion to the chaos? Something was chaotic, right? And you added emotions. It doesn't necessarily have to be born from emotion. You have to be very careful when you're observing things not to add an emotion to it.
So to answer your Angie said something. She said emotions are needed when you are making points that are needed or heard. So again, that's when you have to choose your piece. Is it emotions or is it passion?
It could be both. It could be none.
If you're passionate about something, then I can understand the emotions of it, right? If you're passionate about something, absolutely.
Well, there's no passion without emotion, right?
Right.
It's impossible. I mean, if you're passionate about something, it's because you feel it in more areas than none. No pun intended.
Depending on the subject, absolutely.
Right. It's all relevant to. So the point is that if we look at chaos, right, from a point of it can exist everywhere, then we don't resist it, because we sometimes see chaos and be like, what is chaos doing here?
Right.
What do you mean, what is chaos? Forget about why. You see how you went into the why? Why is chaos here?
Yeah.
No. Let's figure out what this chaos is. Trust me, because if you go into the why, you'll go deeper than you need to, and then you might have to start all over, because your interpretation of what was not as clear as you could be, because the emotions were not allowing you to think straight. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, honestly.
So let's identify whether the chaos that we have has emotions to begin with. But if you're going to be, okay, here's another thing too. I'm passionate about learning, right? Watch how this works in reverse. I'm passionate about it. But if I allow myself to get overly emotional about it, it kind of slows down the learning, and it puts me in right? It puts me in a different state of mind. It puts me in let's enjoy this. I'm like, no, I don't want to enjoy it yet. Right. Enjoy something, being happy, right? That's another emotion, ladies and gentlemen. And what have we said? Don't let the emotion or clapping for yourself or over celebration, right? So we need to regulate how long, how much we do things so that we can get the lesson and get the hell out, because we got other shit that we got to do.
Absolutely.
Life be life, and it ain't waiting for you.
We got about an hour left, right?
I would say so. 55 minutes.
Let's I'm gonna dive into one other part, and then I do want to hear from some people in the chat. in regards to, I got a couple reflective questions to ask. So I definitely want them to answer this. But a few other things. The trigger effects, the trigger effects of chaos, right? Chaos rarely appears overnight. It builds. It builds from little cracks we ignore. When problems go unaddressed, they multiply. Small triggers become explosions. Chaos provides distractions. If everything is in flames, you don't have to face the quiet truth about yourself. I'm gonna repeat that. Make sure y'all hearing this. I'm gonna repeat it. Chaos provides distraction. If everything is in flames, you don't have to face the quiet truth about yourself. Remember when I stated that when somebody creates chaos, they're trying to avoid the accountability, the responsibility.
And wait up, you're right, because there are times where the situation calls for your identity and you choose not to reveal something about yourself.
Boom.
That is, I feel like throwing up right now.
Boom.
Honestly, I feel like just throwing up right now, because how many times have we done something to distract someone when some truth is about to be revealed?
Every time.
Scooby Doo.
People do it a lot.
I'm
I'm just saying.
not gonna hold
Yeah,
you. Bro.
we see it happen in real time. We seen it happen on here.
I've seen it too many times on this
We
live.
seen it happen on here. We hosted a panel on here, and we had it happen on here. It happened. So some lady came in, right? We were talking about, I think, relationships or something, and she came here talking about her husband and da da da, like some weird conversation about her husband or whatever. You know, we asked a particular question, right? And then she started playing victim so she can get sympathy. On like in real time, like the switch was crazy. Like it was just like we were having a regular conversation. She brought the conversation to us, by the way. So we having a conversation, and then we asked her a particular question about the what she brought up, and then she started playing victim immediately.
Faster than.
Yo, when I'm telling you the switch was crazy, the switch was crazy. And the next thing you know, instead of us tackling the question, it end up everybody was trying, well, some people, not everybody, was trying to coddle her and sympathize with her and all this extra stuff. But you brought this conversation. You wanted the truth, and you couldn't handle the truth, so you switched the conversation to make yourself look like a victim.
And
Yep.
had some. You know what? That day also revealed the level of coachness in certain coaches, not to mention some names, because that day was the day that we realized that some people were not meant to be coaches, or not at that point. I'm going to go as far as say they should never be coaches, but I never say never. But that right there left a bad taste in my mouth, because the people that sided with her, that's when I started saying, you are easily drawn to something like that. Then what's to say that you understand how this works in the first place? Because if you didn't catch that switch, how, oh, wait, me, and about me, and about, I was like, wait a second. And you was like, your face went that way, my face went this way, and I realized we let it happen, and then at the end of the day, everybody went their separate ways for the best.
Oh yeah, that was an ugly one. Man. But yeah, no, to be completely honest with you, I caught the switch, and I will hold myself accountable in saying that I should have nipped that whole situation in the bud when it happened, and I didn't. I allowed it to fester. I don't know if it's because I was enjoying the conversation or whatever the case may be, but it happened. I hold myself accountable for that. I will gladly hold myself accountable for that. But yeah, no, it happened in real time, guys. It happened in real time. It's crazy. Tony's in the building. What's going on? I see you, Jay. What's going on, Sunflower?
Hey.
But we're not gonna talk about that.
No, it's just an example. Like, again, it is important to know that we're telling you that there are some things in life that you must go through, right? But it's not just walking into a fog
Right.
You start recognizing how long you need to be there and what is the lesson to be learned there. Those are the most important things when you're going through these transitions. When pain comes and chaos comes, right? This is where you show your truth about yourself. When you're under pressure, it's where your real identity and your real character is.
Right.
So it's not this facade that you walk around with, da, 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 da. You know, it's not that at all. When the shit hits the fan and life becomes, when life becomes challenging, that's when your true self, your true authentic self, as they say, because everybody talks about authenticity and shit, it's just driving me crazy.
Right.
Your genuineness comes when you're under pressure, because pressure is going to show what you're really made of. Do you fold under pressure? Do you make pressure worse? That's the same thing about chaos. So what I'm saying is, if you start paying attention to these things, when life throws a curveball at you, you're more likely to do a better job with this curveball because you don't have already chaos going on in your life. So like you got this new chaos that you have this new chaos that you can't control, that random chaos, that life chaos, and then you have family chaos, right? And then you have work chaos, and then you have everyday chaos, right? And then on top of that, things happen and you're not ready to deal with any chaos because you already live in a chaotic world.
So can we
That's bananas, bro.
can we as I'm enjoying this coffee's amazing, by the way.
You're like a panda eating bamboo right now.
Listen, loving every second of it.
Okay.
Can we talk about the cost of living in chaos, though?
You could do that.
Can we do that? Just a little bit, right? Just give a little bit on that.
Is this more an aftermath thought?
It can be. Okay. I'll give you what I have.
Okay.
And
go ahead, shoot.
And then you let me know where you want to take it. All right.
Shoot.
Mind you, guys, like I said earlier today, we didn't compare notes. So everything that's coming to you is new to me on his end and new to him on my end. We didn't. So this is all literally like fresh. So I have chaos that always demands a payment. Emotionally, mentally, and relationally. It burns out your energy and makes clarity almost impossible. That's one, right? Make sure I hope you're writing this down because if you want me to repeat it, I'll repeat it. It damages relationships by creating instability, mistrust, and toxic cycles. It rewires the brain. The constant adrenaline of chaos feels normal while peace feels boring and unsafe. Let's stop there. We're going to stop there.
All right.
I'm going to repeat that last one. Because that last one, the constant adrenaline of chaos feels normal while peace feels boring or unsafe. I'm going to let that sit there for a little bit. Because let's think about that for a second, right? Let's really dive into that for a second. Show of hands, or put a 1 in the chat. If you've met a person, been around a person, or still dealing with a person that doesn't know how to celebrate the peaceful things in your life. When you start actually producing positive things, they have to bring up something chaotic to try to diminish what the peaceful thing is or what the accomplishment or achievement is.
Hold that thought right there.
You see what I did? You see what I did?
Hold up. Time out. Flag on the plate. All right. Okay. Let me. Oh man.
Miss Harris, welcome in.
There are people in this world that resist your peace. There's people in this world that resist your peace. There's people in this world that don't want you to have peace. There's people in this world that resist your change. When you're going through a process and getting in tune with yourself and you're learning about yourself, things change. Your facial expressions change, right? Your body movements change, your volume changes, your energy changes. Some people recognize this. And we choose to put ourselves in front of people that would not celebrate or clap for us. They would not, they just can't because, but here's the thing too. Your change could have been much faster because you're going through it and you have to give people a chance to mourn the old you also.
Absolutely.
You have to mourn the person, but not say, oh, that person's unalive, that person doesn't exist anymore. You best to believe that if you've done it and you said it, it can happen again. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you have to mourn yourself, but not try to forget like it never happened. You live with that and you move forward. But there are other people in this world, you know what I'm saying, that have to mourn the old you also.
So Angie Boo said something in the chat. Let me go back. Where it says, she said, I was going to say, is it a red flag if it's a coach? It is an absolute red flag if it's a coach that does that, but you got to also understand that they're also human. Just because they have the title of a coach don't mean that they're not human.
Good morning. Yeah, yes.
You got to also keep in mind. You also keep in mind that they go through things too. Everybody goes through things, no matter what type of field you work in, what type of environment that you work in, what type of career that you have. You're still human, and people go through things at the end of the day. So if the conversation wasn't if the conversation that you had with the coach didn't go where it's supposed to go, then that person may be going through something. You never know. That's a conversation between you and that person that needs to be had. Maybe there needs to be more clarity. Can't tell you. To be honest with you, can't tell you. But for the sake of this conversation, it is chaotic. You kicked yourself out. Don't kick yourself out. Kicking yourself is not positive, Miss Harris. It's not positive. But in regards to, we're all a work, MJ, absolutely, 100%. 100%. We're all a work in progress. That's the thing, right? That's the whole point of Mind Your Mental. That's the reason why I named it Mind Your Mental, is because we're all a work in progress. We're all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that's just going to be, boom, I'm healed. It's impossible.
We gotta stop looking at people as this better thing, because when we use this better mentality, like when we use the better mentality, it creates unnecessary competition. And at the end of the day, a coach is supposed to help you develop certain skills to be aware so that you can find your own answers. Ain't no coach trying to do nothing for you. That's more of a mentor or someone in a higher level. That's above our pay grade. You know what I'm saying? Like as a coach, we just want to enlighten you on ways where you could further expand and think on your own to become autonomous. It's like the beginning stages before you get into that. I always tell people, see a coach before you see a psychiatrist. Because then you go into the psychiatrist with different perspectives.
Right.
A good psychiatrist will look at you and say, hey, I've seen what you've done thus far, right? And that's a different conversation from someone that's coming to the blue to tell me, okay, tell me, doc, what's wrong with me? Hey, tell me, coach, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Okay, let's talk about, well, what's right with you? You know, what's right with you? So a coach is going to help you with your mindset. And when we see that you are too hard on yourself, when we see that you are repeating things,
I know, Angel.
We got to let you know that you're doing these things so that you could be aware of it. You understand what I'm saying? So again, don't get it twisted. Coaches, psychiatrists, doctors, therapists, they're all human beings. And even mentors, right? So one of the things that I learned,
as I was kind of like climbing up the ladder in my healing journey, is you can have more than one support system as far as like mentor, coach, therapist, right? You can have more than one. So I had my life coach, I had my mentor, I had my therapist, and and I made sure that they were all in communication with each other, right? That was the number one thing that made my process so much easier. They were all in communication with each other, and they all knew each other. Like I made sure that they knew of each other, so that way whatever conversations I'm having, they're delegating with each other to help me be better. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just three different separate conversations. It was they're all working in regulation to regulate me. You know what I'm saying? To work towards making me better. On top of me doing the work on my own. Having that understanding was top tier, right? Because the day that they released me from their grasp, right, it was probably the most effective conversation that I had. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to dealing with a coach or dealing with a therapist, right, you have to be willing to be transparent with yourself and them. You can't ask for help and not be willing to take the criticism, because it's gonna come with criticism. It's with love, but there's no coddling. That's the difference. We're not here to coddle you. We don't want to hold you. We want you to flourish. We want you to fly away. Once you get what you need from us, so you can be better, we want you to go and be better and teach other people to be better if you can. Right? That's the goal. 100%. 100% the goal. 100% the goal. Okay? I can use Lala for an example. Lala came to me and she was not the person that she is now. Right? Not to throw you under the bus, Lala, but we're here, right? Lala came to me and she's not the person that she was now. Okay? She had a lot of things that she was dealing with. She had a lot of chaotic. She had a chaotic mindset. She had so many things that she was working on, and I had to tell her to slow down. I was like, listen, we got to work on one thing at a time. And she was like, okay, this is what I want to work on. And she gave me what she wanted to work on. She wanted to do the work. That was the key point of her actually being able to do the work. She wanted to do the work. There was no excuses. There was nothing. She said, I want to do the work. Boom. We got to work. I gave her the stuff that she needed. She went and did the work. She was doing so much work. I told her to slow down. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was doing so much work. I had to tell her to slow down and take in the work that she was doing and let it apply. Because if it doesn't apply, then that means the work is for nothing. You have to make sure that what you're doing actually works for you. You got to make sure that it applies. Before anything else, before you go to that next step, make sure what you're taking in applies. If it doesn't apply, then you need to figure out why it doesn't apply. And if it doesn't apply and you still can't figure that out, you need to find another route. It may not be that coach that you need. It may not be that therapist that you need. It may not be that mentor that you need. You might need to find a different person that might be able to help you in regards to that. Because even in the aspect of coaching and all that stuff, that's just chaotic itself. Because we're taking up all this energy from the person that we're working with. Right? We're taking all this energy. A lot of coaches are empaths. Let's keep it all the way 100. Right? A lot of effective coaches are empaths. They take in energy. They feel energy. So they have to release that somewhere as well. So coaches have therapists. Coaches have other coaches. Right? One of the things that we do as coaches is we have to be honest with you. We can't sugarcoat you guys. We can't sugarcoat it with you guys, because if we sugarcoat it with you guys, then it's not going to resonate. If we say it with a little bit more aggression and a little bit more passion, it's not to break you down. It's to have you hear it with love. It's always with love. If it's an effective coach, it's with love, right? We're saying we're doing it with love, but we want to see you be better. At the end of the day, there's no other goal that we have besides you being better.
That's like, look, you want to bug out? How about going to a coach that doesn't even like to help people?
Right. Or a coach that makes you just keep coming back.
Or a coach that likes to prolong your healing so that he can keep you around for the money.
Or a therapist that makes you keep coming back. That's not even giving you anything that you're supposed to. You need to actually be better, but they keep going back so that way you can line their pockets.
Or a coach that doesn't teach you how to work on your own to be autonomous. That they create a dependency and an attachment instead of getting you ready to fly. You understand what I'm saying?
Like, think about these things. When you have somebody that's willing to tell you the truth, right? When you have a coach that's willing to tell you the absolute truth, right? You have to be willing to receive it. You have to understand you're going to this person for a reason. When there's a coach that's transparent and true to what they're doing, the one thing that we don't want to do is coddle you. We don't want to trauma bond with you. We don't want to do none of that stuff. We want you to be better. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they struggle with hearing the truth. They struggle with the transparency of it all, right? And that's the struggle. That's the reason why a lot of people don't go to coaches, because we can operate in a field outside of what therapists can do. Okay? A therapist is definitely designed to assist you and help you, and me as a coach will tell you if you need therapy or not. If it's
no doubt about it. I don't
past my understanding and the things that I can do, I'm not gonna touch it. You have to go to therapy.
We're not debunking the profession or the science of it. We are debunking certain people and their characteristics and the reasons why they do what they do.
The thing that I want everybody to understand is, and this is the God honest truth. If you're going to come to a coach, be prepared to do the work. Because the one thing that we don't have time for is the story. The story don't matter. What do you want to work on? What do you want to work on? Because the story is cool. What the person that hurts you, we get it. We've all been. That's why a lot of coaches are coaches, because we've been through the hurt. We've been through the pain. We know what it looks like. We know that we want the why from the other person. Unfortunately, the why from the other person don't matter in the process of you being better. It don't matter. It's just going to hinder your growth. And a lot of people, when they come to a coach, they want to know the why of why that person hurt them. You'll never know the why until they actually want to tell you the why.
How many movies have we seen where you see somebody drop to their knees and go, why? But why? And you know what? Could it be possible that there is no freaking reason at all? It just is what it is. Like, and people are like, I hate that reference. You know why? Because it's incomplete. It is what it is until it's not. In other words, things change, man.
Right.
Right? Like, come on, man. Like, are we gonna sit here and act like things don't change on us? Like people don't change, like life don't change, you know? Like,
so just ask yourself, right? Ask yourself, because we're still in the conversation of chaos, right?
Absolutely.
Because even in the aspect of understanding what coaching is and what therapy is and the root of it all, you need to ask yourself, are you prepared for that shit? Are you prepared to remove the chaotic aspect of your life? Because not being able to take in information, not being able to hear the truth, it's chaotic on its own.
But everybody knows that answer already.
Very true. 100%. They do know the answer, but they avoid it.
Everybody knows the answer to that question. Everybody.
So you gotta ask, that's the ultimate question, right? Because a lot of people say they want to work on themselves, they want to be better, they want to do this, they want to do that. Cool. I'm all for people wanting to be better. I'm all for people wanting to put the work in. I'm all for people wanting to be the better version of themselves. But you got to ask yourself, are you ready? Because it sounds good until you actually have to put in the work. Then you realize that it's not as easy as you thought it would be. Because a lot of stuff that you want to work on is surface level shit. Not realizing a lot of the stuff that you need to work on is below the surface. Right? That surface level stuff is cool. Work on it, right? Make it look good. Put a little bow on it. Make it look nice, right? Make it look cute until you have to open Pandora's box. Or that red door that we always talking about.
Exactly. If you keep playing it off, it's going to catch you by surprise. It's like the same thing that you keep talking shit about preparing yourself for, you're still going to get blindsided because you're not doing it for real.
Right? No, there's okay, hold on. Good morning, Lima. Too many people, right? And this is me seeing, observing as a coach, as a person, as a human. There's too many people that use the word healed as a buzzword. Okay? Half of you are not healed. Not even remotely. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Okay? The one thing that being healed or healing shows, your actions, your consistency, right? The way that you operate, right? The way that you regulate your emotions, all of that overall will tell somebody if you're healed or not.
Level of understanding.
There's a level to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I excuse my language if you don't like me cussing. This is a place where we use profanity. There's levels to this shit. I can listen. I don't even need to have a conversation with you for me to tell if you're healed or not. Your mannerism, your language, your body language will tell me everything I need to know. I don't even need to have a conversation with you. That's how good I am at recognizing people's behaviors. Your body language alone will let me know if you're healed or not. Because if I say something and your body language is off of something that I said that's positive, because most times I'm speaking from the positive aspect. I want to see people do better. I want to motivate people to do better. But I'm also not gonna sugarcoat, or I'm not gonna baby you either. Because I don't do that. I don't baby people. We're grown. We are grown. If you want to be coddled by somebody, go find somebody to coddle you. We don't coddle people. We want you to be better. We want you to find the solution to your problems. We have too many people hosting panels and lives and all this extra shit with these type of topics and conversations, and there's no solutions to these conversations. There's no solution. There's nothing. They provide no solutions. They give you all the chaotic shit, and they be like, figure it out.
Can I make a quick comparison?
Go ahead.
Saying you're healed and not showing it through your actions is like buying a Louis Vuitton purse and not having your bills paid, not having your rent paid, not having your underwear clean. Let's be realistic. I'm going to say that flat out. If you're saying that you're healing or healed and your actions don't match, if you're healing, you don't need to tell people you're healing. If you're healed, you don't need to tell people you're healed. People that actually are healed and understand healing will acknowledge that without saying a word.
Yep.
But saying you're healed and not showing that through your actions is straight up wearing a Louis Vuitton bag and a Gucci purse and a Gucci belt and all this shit, and your bills aren't paid, your underwear's not clean, you don't have any water, your lights are off. It don't add up. You're doing it to impress other people by saying that you're this thing.
What's going on, Devin?
But all you are is a false imitation of what that's supposed to look like. Because when people are actually that person and actually say what they mean and act the way they're supposed to when they're working on themselves, you don't have to announce it. It shows through your actions.
And I told you guys that before too.
I believe a quarter of what I hear. I watch how you act.
Dr. G, what's going on?
If you show me that you act like somebody that hasn't worked on themselves, I'm gonna get the fuck out the way. Excuse my French. I'm gonna get the fuck out the way. I'm gonna move over and I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm cool. Like, we can be cordial, but I'm gonna move out the way. I don't need to interact with you. I don't have to do anything with you. I can keep you at an arm's length because I see how you act.
And I've mentioned this to you guys so many times. If you've been here within the last year and a half, right? We've really dived into this conversation a lot, right? I've told you guys this. When you're being productive for yourself, right? Not for anybody else. Because if you're here, you're being productive for yourself. That's it. It's not for anybody else. It's for you. It's for self. I got you, bro. It's for self. So if you're here, that means you want to be better for you, not for anybody else. Not for anybody else. When you're trying to be the better version of yourself, nobody else matters. Nobody else matters. And that's the nicest thing that I could say. You know what I'm saying? That's the nicest way I could say it. Without sounding like a dickhead. Nobody else matters. It starts with you.
Yeah, if you can't regulate it, you have to honestly point the radar to yourself.
Yeah, you have to. Everything starts with you. All of this that we've been doing for the last 5 years. It's going on 5 years, April 13th, by the way, guys. 5 years we've been doing this. The narrative of why we started doing this podcast has never changed. Has never changed. The main focus of Monumental was to focus on self. Period, point blank. No matter the things that you've been through, the circumstances that you are part of, the situations that you've been in, you are the common fucking denominator of all of it. Think about that for a second. Whether it's your fault or not, you are still the common denominator of all of it. Meaning you still have to put in the work for you. Can't nobody do it but you.
Just because you check the box just means your pen is full of ink. Doesn't mean you actually did the work.
I'm just saying. Riz, go ahead, brother, man.
And thank you, Levette, for saying that, because that's what I was going to mention. It's taking that inventory for yourself, right? Watch your reactions to the things, the places, and the people around you. Watch your reaction.
BG.
That is how you'll be able to gauge how far along your quote unquote healing journey you've actually come. Watch how you're willing to respond to people. Watch how you navigate your way in these circumstances when you do face these obstacles, these hurdles, these adversities. Pay attention to what you're doing in those situations.
Priestess, welcome in.
You are the variable. You are the common denominator. You are the intangible thing in all of these other circumstances. And you know why? It's because you're not playing with main character energy. You're playing with side character energy. I'd argue that most people are walking around being an extra and a stunt double to their own life. But anyway,
That's
That's fact.
that you are your own sidekick. You go into your sidekick, then your original person.
You are your own worst enemy.
Hey, bro, you remember when you said that there's a price to pay?
Mm-hmm.
That chaos is not free?
Right.
Let me touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about the essence of chaos, right? It always collects a price. Whether you pay now in discipline or later in disorder. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Remember we had that conversation a long time ago? So there's no time on healing. There's no time on this.
Right.
Okay, there is no specific time and everybody's different. But doesn't mean that you have to wait it out to see how long it's going to take. You could actually be proactive about this and expedite this process.
Right.
If you do things right and you do the right research and you surround yourself with the right people and you start working on the things that contribute It will open doors, open your mind, open your ears. Your senses will work better. You'll be better receptive, less rejectful, more respectful. Learn this humility, learn this humbleness, learn these things, because these are the things that are going to regulate us. These character traits that we don't have, these skills that we don't have, is what we're trying to show you that you need to work on so that you can regulate yourself. You listen, if you don't regulate yourself, somebody will. And then you get mad when people tell you shit.
Facts.
You're not holding yourself accountable or behaving in a matter, and we're not telling you to be this pencil pusher. We're not telling you to be this strict nerd. We're not telling you any of this. Nerds is sexy to me anyway, but that's another story.
Out to the nerds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Power to the nerds.
Out to the nerds.
So that's another thing too. These stigmas that we create when we're young, that smart is not in. When the hell did that happen?
I don't know.
What, Riz, can you tell me when did not doing your own research, not looking into things, not learning new things, and becoming more attractive to the right people? Like,
that actually plays into what I had my hand up for, and it's something that you said about all of it, right?
right?
What the root problem, right? Because we like to discuss what the real problem is, not the fluff around it. But what the root problem is comparison. It's comparison. So most people want to say they're healing, right? But they're comparing their journey to a group of people who are also in that process. So why they're not expediting their own challenges? Because they're watching everybody else around them. Like, well, they're not that far along. I don't have to move farther.
Hold on. Are you saying that a lot of people that heal, that they use other people's standards and boundaries?
Yeah, they're not living by their own metrics because they haven't found their own roadmap, which is why I tell people so often, where's your map? Where's your map? Not the one that somebody else charted, not the one that somebody else found landmarks on, the one that you're going to explore freely into the unknown and diving into things that you are afraid to look at, because that's where you find change. That is where you find growth. That is where you find you in the things that you have yet to discover for yourself. I'm going back on mute.
Why would anyone compare everyone? Is different. Everyone's split. Well,
Yeah.
because the reason why people would compare is because most people that compare themselves to someone other person's story is because they're either one, envious of where that person is in their journey, or they want to be that person.
Or sometimes it could be something that they don't even recognize that they're doing.
Time out.
They don't even recognize when they're doing it. They
That's
can't even recognize the point of comparison because they've gotten accustomed to doing it and it's become part of their behavioral operating system.
that's the identity, right? This is and this is exactly what we've been trying to tell you. Listen to what was being said here.
But sometimes you're too close to it, like we had discussed with the Johari window, right? There are segments, there are blind spots
What's
to
going
things
on?
that you do, to ways that you operate that are unseen to not only the people around you, but unseen to yourself. They are your blind spots for a reason. That words mean things, and that was a word to characterize something that actually happens to people. We all have blind spots,
Right.
things that we can't see and things that the people that are close to us can't see.
I love this conversation.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Are you guys familiar with what an armchair quarterback is?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that? All right. So for those that don't know, an armchair quarterback is a quarterback in a football team that is like a one-trick pony. He throws the ball. He sits back and throws the ball. And this is where we mess up. We got to get up and move around more. Like what he said. We're too close to it, right? So then what's the opposite of too close, right? Move back a little bit, right? But don't just move back and forth. Move left to right, bob and weave, throw a punch once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
you can't approach everything in the same way, in the same distance for the same amount of time.
Right.
Exactly. And that's why I use the explorer method, right? The explorer analogy, it's these things are all uncharted to you. These are experiences and circumstances that you haven't yet found. Let the
Right.
wind take you somewhere. Don't
Right.
be afraid to venture out and explore things that you haven't seen, that you haven't realized, that you haven't yet looked at. Maybe
That's
unpack some of the
absolutely
things that you put away that you said you were going to get to that you never did.
not nasty about
Procrastination.
it. You see what she said? Facts. Or you get stuck. Let me tell you something. This is gonna
Yeah,
sound a
risk and
little weird.
stagnation is crazy.
This is gonna sound a little weird, right? If you don't move around, right? They say more about the brain than anything else. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It's the
You know
same.
what? Let me take the counter analogy. What happens when you're in quicksand? The more you move, the faster you get stuck.
You see,
Sometimes people are moving too fast for their own good.
that's
Sometimes in a race to heal, you're not actually doing the work properly. You are missing things because you're too busy moving too
but
fast.
it's in their calendar. What are you talking about? In 90 days, I'm going to be healed.
Good luck. Must have been a faulty calendar. Are they working on the sundial?
Must be, must be
If
not.
anybody here would not admit that at some point in their life they put a time in some type of healing, because that's the first thing we ask a doctor, right? Hey, doc, how long is the stitches going to be on? Oh, I'll give it about 3 or 4 weeks. Not
Three or
the
4 weeks.
not the same type of doctor, ladies and gentlemen. Not the same type of therapy. Not the same type of healing, and not the same type of recovery. Not the same, because there are some things that have to be met, and the doctor helps you go through these processes. Listen, don't do this. Don't make no force. Don't do this. Don't pop the stitches. Don't pop the stitches. And this is what we do. We take
So
shortcuts.
welcome back.
We try to move forward faster than we can heal. How can you move faster than your healing process? But if you're not at where you're supposed to be, then you're catching up to your healing. You'll always be behind. So what are we talking about? Balance, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you guys got to understand something, right? When it comes to the healing journey, right? Think of it as a tunnel. Like you think of it as you running in a tunnel, right? The more that you think that you're gonna get to the end of that tunnel, the farther that tunnel seems to go far. It seems to push away, right? Because you got to understand, you may heal from certain things, right? But we're living in a constant life. Life still goes on, so you might deal with something down the line that might hurt you, that you might have to heal from. But the key is having the tools, people, having the tools to be able to navigate and regulate and operate with these things. So when it does happen, you know how to cope with it. You know how to deal with it. You know how to deal with the triggers. You have to deal with your traumas. You know how to handle these situations when they happen. Right? You have the ammo. You have everything that you need. But the moment that you don't, you keep falling short. And then you blame everybody else but yourself.
This is
And
why.
that's
Hold up. This is why one of the questions when people come to me and they ask me certain things, I ask them a weird question. The question is, all right, so when do you want to be done with this? Do you have a goal in mind of when you want to be healed or when you want to obtain these skills?
They never do.
Absolutely not.
They never do.
I want to get this done as soon as possible. How about right now? Just snap your fingers. Come on, Harry Potter, let's do this.
All right,
Yeah,
Thanos.
I know, I know it's like
All right,
that.
Thanos. Go ahead. Snap it into existence. Snap it out of existence.
it's also something that we talk about often, right? In order to progress, you have to use neuroplasticity. You have to rewire the brain, as you mentioned earlier. You have to start adjusting to things that are different. So if you keep retelling a trauma, if you keep rehashing a story, then you are telling your brain chemically that you would like more of that, please. And we've said this before. If you keep ruminating, if you keep reliving, then you are basically telling your operating system that you want more of that you do not want to heal. So everything that you say you want to heal from, your operating system knows the truth. You are doing exactly the same thing that you've been doing and wondering why it doesn't work because you are choosing to keep yourself in a loop because it's comfortable for you.
So
And it's safe to be in rumination. Because that way you can make an excuse as to why you feel it. Because my feelings are valid. I'm not saying they're not. But how long are you going to validate your own feelings instead of doing something to change them?
So I have a question for everybody. Don't answer it here. Hold on to it for next Saturday. Okay. Everybody write it down. What's one chaotic pattern you keep repeating even though you know it hurts you? What's one chaotic pattern you keep repeating even though you know it hurts you?
Just one?
Which one?
I can give them all. Let me give them all a freebie. Here's the favorite one that you might not want to admit: lying. Oh, but I don't lie. That was a lie too.
And I want you to know that the liar doesn't lie.
No?
No.
No? You sure?
No, because that's you have to do something to lie, but a liar lives in lies.
Yeah, the lie don't do shit.
Right. A liar is a person who lies. Now, if you say a lie, does that make you a liar? We're gonna pay the price no matter what, right?
Right.
That was a good question, because when you start recognizing these things and you start being vulnerable to yourself, we're not even vulnerable to ourselves. Like, it's yet alone, we're not vulnerable to no one. We're not even vulnerable to ourselves. So if we don't know how to be open with ourselves, then we're gonna always limit, sugarcoat, and masquerade our version of vulnerability when it counts, when it's necessary to actually come forward.
Did you guys, anybody in the chat need me to repeat the question so you can write it down?
Say it one more time.
Just put a 1 in the chat if you need me to repeat the question so you can write it down. I got a few of these. I'm just giving you that one for now.
Embellish is huge, Levette.
The question was, what's one chaotic pattern you keep repeating even though you know it hurts you? Oh yeah, I should do that, huh? Yeah, that'll be a good idea. Actually, let me work on that now.
So look, let me real quick and take these next 2 minutes real quick to talk about some things while you do that. Look.
Go for it.
All right. So here are the hidden costs for chaos, because we're telling you that chaos is not free, right? It drains your time, your energy, your money, and emotional stability. And I'm not saying that it does this all at the same time, but the longer you let it linger, the chances are that it will affect more things and bleed into other things. Even when it's spontaneous or unconstructed, right? Or unstructured. Then there's this thing called tax. Every unplanned action or decision creates a ripple effect that demand payment later in stress, mistakes, or missed opportunities. This is all from chaos, all right? Emotional toll. It erodes trust, relationships, and mental health, often leaving confusion in its wake. Then you lose production. Chaos eats away at focus and progress, forcing constant recovery instead of steady growth. It forces constant recovery instead of steady growth. Recovery sounds like this: I need a reset, I need a reset, I need a reset, I need a reset, I need a reset. How many freaking resets do you need? Are you serious? And make sure that you know what reset is before you keep pressing that button. Every time something goes wrong, you don't get a reset. You grab whatever you learn with that and add it to it so you're not doing the same shit over and over. Now, there's false freedom, right? For some, it might be liberating, but chaos isn't free. It trades short-term release for long-term cost. So now I raise the question to everybody here. Watch this. Do you find peace in your chaos, or do you find chaos in your peace?
That's a good question.
And that should help you. That should help you, right?
A good fucking question.
Yeah. They said, which one are we? Are we the type to find peace in our chaos, or chaos in our peace?
Hold on. Run that back. Run that back. You guys,
are we the type to find peace in our chaos, or chaos in our peace? It's almost like asking someone, are you the person they hate to love or love to hate?
sheesh.
Which one are you? And let's see how transparent and vulnerable you can be to yourself. Your self-inflated ego telling you that you think people love you more than they think they do.
How are you?
You know, let's take that to the next level. How about that?
I know. That was deep. Give them that question again, because I need them to write that question down.
Are you the type to find peace in your chaos or chaos in your peace?
Oh, Jesus.
Talk about your paradoxes.
That was.
And people are gonna take the safe route. I want to say it's a little bit of both.
No, we don't take safe routes over here. We don't know what that looks like.
But it's hard to create a distinction when you've been both at some time in your life. At some time in your life, you have tried to find the peace in the worst. And you have tried to find the worst in something that, you know, because peace is more like nothing. What does peace feel like? No chaos. So if chaos is evident and chaos exists, can't live without chaos, because it is how we perceive and what we do with chaos that prepare us for the next event,
Right.
whether it's reciprocal, transactional, or self-inflicted.
So you guys, if you guys know me by now, you guys know that there's always a method to my madness, right? You guys know that, right? So the next live, we're gonna be talking about the triggers of chaos, right? What really sets off your chaos? What are the triggers of your chaos? So that's why when I ask, what's one chaotic pattern you keep repeating even though you know it hurts you? I need the answer to that because we're gonna open the boxes, and I need to see the answers, and I want you guys to be transparent, not truthful, not honest, but transparent with yourself. Be transparent with yourself in regards to that answer that you're gonna give, because the whole point of this is growth, and if we're able to be transparent with ourselves, then we're able to try to find some solution to that chaos or that chaotic mindset that you have or that chaotic pattern.
You know, that's the difference between destructive and creative chaos, right? There's creative chaos, right, which is growth, creativity, and unity. And then there's destructive chaos, which is breakdown, fear, and loss. So on what side of chaos are you going to be in?
It depends. It depends really on the root of their self-preservation.
Absolutely. And the results that you're trying to get and the reality of your perspective and perception. I mean, all these things come to mind. So this is why we're bringing all these terms to you so that you can start looking into it and seeing how expansive this is. This is actually quite interesting. I mean, listen, I can't speak for everybody, but this shit does shit for me. And I love going down these conversations and learning so much about behavior and reaction and responses and how the brain works and the body works. It's fascinating shit, man. I don't care what anybody says.
I'll repeat the question. What's one chaotic pattern you keep repeating even though you know it hurts you? So if you guys register, this is how I'll know you guys registered for the live. I added the question to the registry for next Saturday. So if you go register for the live, you'll be able to see the question if you can't write it down at this current moment. We have 16 people in here. Go to my bio and click on the registry for the live events. You'll see the registry for that live. Go register for the live for next Saturday so you can get a notification. I'm telling you, it's gonna be this whole month is gonna be a wealth of knowledge in regards to this topic. Okay, we're diving into so many different aspects and nuances of it, but it's all in the aspect of chaos. And I want to be able to really like dive into this the way that we dove into it today because it's important, right? So next Saturday we're going to be talking about the triggers. What really sets off your chaos? You know what I'm saying? And
I'm not gonna put this question in the registry, but I will create a video and I'll ask it. But it's an interesting question. You know what I'm saying? So next Saturday at 10 a.m., come through. Come join us. Come be a part of the conversation, whether you're in the chat or in the boxes. And please, if you are in the boxes, please bring some decorum and have respect for the panel and the people in the chat. Because I have moderators that don't play and they don't hesitate to block on mute people. I don't give warnings. Which that's what I know. I don't give warnings. It just happens. But you guys have any closing remarks? We are at 12 o'clock.
I will make mine short and sweet. I appreciate you all immensely. Do the work. We all have books in our bios. Me specifically, I have a journal that accompanies my first book, which is a true adventure. The journal is called Unliable. It is a 30-day truth journal to make you sick of lying. It's my favorite thing to do is to tell the truth, and I think you should adapt that as an operating system because I think it's extremely beneficial to your growth, to your sanity, and to your continuing cultivating of peace. And I wish that upon all of you. God bless.
Absolutely. Amazing. Appreciate you, brother, man. Ormiga?
When you start digging into chaos, and everything else, you start looking for the red flags and the pros and the cons of things. You know, always look for the pros and the cons and the warning signs, and create some of your own. Nobody's perfect, but the better you cater your work to yourself and being honest and open, the faster you will get there. Trust me, because if you do it without these things and these skill sets and these things that we're trying to make you aware of, whether you know it or not, maybe you have heard all these things. Nobody's trying to underestimate you, by no means. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to tell you and acknowledge that this thing that you learn is very important. It's very necessary. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, Fugazies. So, and listen, don't do what makes you happy, because what makes you happy is what got you here in the first place. Rearrange that happiness, because you could be happy to be comfortable and becoming an armchair quarterback that only has one trick up their sleeve, and it's not going to work for everything. So be a little flexible, be a little bit adaptable. I come with love, whether you like it or not. If you don't love it back, it's not my problem, it's yours. So own up to it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everybody for coming through. You guys got us to 41.3K.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Good numbers. I appreciate you guys for all the gifts, the gift in the panel. Shout out to Sweet Tea for coming up. Appreciate you, babe. Love you. I appreciate everybody that came here and stood here, because if you were here, that means we're here for a reason. That means you're here to gain the information and the knowledge to be better, not for anybody, but for yourself. Remember that. You're being mindful of you and trying to be better. So if that's what you're doing, I'm proud of you. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a round of applause, because you are truly amazing. Can't nobody tell you otherwise. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all live within your value energy. And I pity the fool who doesn't mind their mental. Hey.